Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and as requested, I am coming to you today with your 2021 world and celebrity predictions. I will start off by saying that this was actually typed out, so I will be reading. This is the reason that I'm not doing it live or doing it from a standpoint where the camera is actually filming me while I'm talking, because I am reading this. It's 9 pages of pure predictions from Spirit. And I feel like it's time to do it. A lot of stuff has surfaced about the election. I know a lot of you have so many questions, not just about the election, but the state of the world, the state of the United States of America. And that's what I'm here for, okay? So if I do pause, it's going to be to drink some water, because this is kind of like me, doing an audiobook in so many ways. But when I do my predictions, they're not written in stone, okay? Free will can change a certain outcome. And I know many of you are have expressed the main people and situations that you want insight into. I welcome you to grab your coffee or any kind of drink and snacks and sit back while I get into what I see. And I see a lot for 2021, okay? So I'm going to start off with the 2020 elections, but before I do so, let me go ahead and also say that these predictions will be posted on my website under the predictions tab, so you can reference it if you don't want to listen to the audio version of it. But I will say this, there's so much to say and so much I could say, but I will try to keep this as minimal as possible. Now, fraud did occur, and the intended winner was definitely cheated from this outcome. Let's keep it real and be transparent. Now, there has never been an election quite like this year, or even a year like 2020. The whole year was like a bad nightmare, and while I'm writing these predictions, the year isn't over yet. Again, I wrote these on November the 18th, 2020, okay? So the year is not even over yet. This whole year has been like a bad nightmare, like I said. And when I tune into the whole presidency, I had two different visions, okay? So before I get into that, I want to be very clear that I'm not saying that President Trump will not win this re-election, because I already have stated my fact, and I'm not retracting it or redacting it or rescinding it. I said what I said, and I mean it. He did win this election, okay? So I initially saw President Trump winning re-election. Heck, many other celebrity psychics and psychics, or popular mainstream psychics saw it too. Even prophets from all over the world saw this. But the hate towards President Trump runs deep. Now, I do see that many interfered in this election, and we are talking about powerful people who I cannot name for my own security, but I will say that there are so many rich billionaires and such that are not even on the grid or on the map, okay? Now, I mean, they are conducting businesses in the black market and have had their own selfish and darker purposes to take down President Trump. Now, they did not want to see him winning this election, because hate is what had to be ingrained in the mind and souls of humanity across the globe. The hate is coming from citizens in other countries. However, there's so many more that love him. Would you believe me if I told you that this was spiritual warfare? Would you believe me if I told you that Republican witches and Democratic witches were casting spells to secure an outcome, and after the results, even more witchcraft and deep magic was done? We aren't talking about one person, but rather covens. Covens against covens. This is something that sounds far-fetched and even like a movie or film material. But trust me, it's very real and it's happening. However, I see visions, and I'm here to simply share the insights from Spirit with you guys. So going back to the reason many celebs and elites wanted President Trump out was because they do not like that he doesn't play politics like many before him. He was not cut from the same cloth when it comes into politics. He's a businessman and a celebrity. He came from that world, and he knows a lot about those people in the industry. Don't you find it very funny that Epstein and Weinstein, among others, were taken down? The corruption runs deep. Human trafficking was another thing that he was against, and signed and passed laws to stop this. The other reason was that President Trump was actually stopping war, and darkness loves war. It's a distraction. Notice under this administration, the war was not overseas, but rather here in the USA. Black Lives Matter and Antifa rose up and they planted moles and people in every voting precinct. They manipulated the Dominion voting software, and the list goes on of that. I will begin to sound like a conspiracy theorist to some, but even Republicans who are now showing their true colors are actually Democrats, but posing as Republicans. And I had predicted this. And this will help you understand why so many are in these positions as Republicans that are now against President Trump. Not only that, but many Californians who are Democratic have flocked to conservative states to inundate them and control the narrative. This has been a plan in the making. This has not been a plan in the making just now. This all started in 2012. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the page here because, like I said, this is like a novel. So bear with me. Okay, under the most corrupt administration, which was the Obama administration. That was truly a dark administration and was the cause of many fatalities and senseless crimes. That was the time that the BLM and Antifa actually rose up even more and were getting organized. There is no doubt in my mind that Obama administration fueled the narrative and hate when they realized their prized jewel, Hillary Clinton, did not win the election. Like I said, election fraud runs very deep, and in every election, there has been fraud, but nothing like 2020. This is a whole other ballpark. The scope of it runs very deep. They made many narratives, but their key to stealing the election was constructing a virus that was funded by many of these powerful people and disseminated in China. The virus was actually created many, many years ago, going back to 14, possibly even 20 years or more. I keep hearing that this was an experimental type of, warfare. And many knew that it would be a new weapon of this magnitude could cause population extinction. With a virus to control the world, it would strike fear, and this would cripple nations and countries. It would cause fear like no other. However, isn't it funny that this happened in 2020, the election year? China knew that the only way to secure the election was to partner with powerful big tech like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to stop the exposure of the lies and magnitude of the truth from reaching the masses. They also knew that pushing mail-in ballots would allow for fraud of the magnitude that we haven't seen before. In addition to that, they also knew that President Trump was going to push voting in person. So many of the machines were already programmed from the time a person voted in real time to switch the numbers to Biden. Biden did not, and I repeat, did not win this election. He is not popular. He is not likable, and neither is Kamala. They are true illegitimate president-elect. They have many people bought off and many who will not admit the truth. However, the evidence is there and will come out very soon. I see President Trump is not the monster that others label him to be. But again, he's not perfect. He has his own flaws and he's made mistakes. But God appointed him to be president. It was his destiny. It was his destiny to serve 8 years as well. So in the visions I have seen, I saw him getting reelected. However, the other vision was Biden being president in 2021. Biden does have dementia, and this is not a diagnosis, but what Spirit sees. I do feel that his health would not be the best, and it would deteriorate. This is all part of the master plan to get him to serve, because it would be temporary. Kamala would be the one who would take over. Is it even a coincidence that Pelosi wanted to pass a law that would ensure that if the president was deemed not capable of serving, they could be replaced by the vice president? Under the Biden plan, I see another shutdown. The economy would suffer, but mainly small businesses and the poor. BLM and Antifa were promised things in exchange to secure this election and to deliver it. I see him falling through, and people who have voted for him actually turning against him and Kamala. I see them reinstating many new laws that would take away gun rights or guns away from people and punish others. They would also allow many people back into our country easily, which would cause terrorist attacks to occur again. If you notice, under the Trump administration, we did not have the terrorist attacks like we had under the Bush and Obama administration. Biden and Harris are guilty of promoting the narrative of racism when they have created racism against white people and supporters of Trump. The amount of accusations and hate that Republicans have encountered has furthered the divide and the Democratic Party is the cause of that. Under the Biden administration, I see taxes going way up, and the restrictions on programs and making it harder. Sorry, I'm flipping the page. Making it harder to apply for things like government assistance, disability. Social Security would be tampered with, and when your grandparents or your parents or anyone disabled could be disqualified or meet harder criteria to get recertified, especially if you're disabled. There would not be a cost of living increase like we've seen with the Trump administration. I see Kamala calling the shots and being very vocal on what she would like to do. To the blind, she will appear as a hero, a shero, and glorified. However, they would go after many Republicans and make their life a living hell. Literally, it is no coincidence that the AOC is collecting names of Trump supporters. They are not even hiding their plans. I see many innocent people losing jobs and a recession of the likes that we have never seen before. And this would actually cause our country to become so weak that another powerful country could take over at any given moment. Biden and Kamala don't even know about this. They are simply puppets being used by the elites who are the ones under control. Kamala could not handle this position, and would be freaking out and deferring to her husband or other politicians like Obama and Hillary. I get a knot and cramps in my stomach when I tune into Kamala and her energy. She is not who she pretends to be. In her heart, this feeds her ego, being glorified. I see anarchy taking on the streets under the administration, and more Republicans having to defend themselves, and the war would be domestic. People who voted for them will be regretting this, and this is coming directly from spirit. Don't complain when your loved ones have lost their jobs, and you are on unemployment line, and only to be told you do not qualify. Celebs were promised that they wouldn't see tax hikes. So contrary to what is being said in the media, that is not true. So this is another reason why all of them endorsed Biden and Harris. They benefited from this and protected them from being investigated for tax evasion, because many of the celebs, let's face it, have not paid their taxes. However, I do see them taxing the poor. They also talked a lot of crap about affordable care under Trump and how the health care was destroyed after doing away with Obamacare. But the Obamacare was the worst thing ever. It only helped only a few who had low income or people who weren't working. Many who were working could not afford the monthly payments and were penalized for not having it. I see their version of healthcare not being any different and only helping a select few. Under this administration, they would pass some bills and laws and have this healthcare package, but that would be some red tape around it. Again, not what it appears to be. Now that I've gotten through the whole big question, the big question is who's going to take office come January 2021? The answer is that only Spirit knows. I do not see President Trump giving up, and I do believe he will take it to the Supreme Court. God is under control. But why would God allow Biden and Harris to win the election? And the answer is that he didn't. Darkness has taken things before in this world, and this election was no different. They took matters into their own hands, and the coronavirus didn't teach them anything. They took it and ultimately got what they wanted. But the people who have done this have major karma and are cursed by the ancestors on the other side. This is a curse that will follow the ones who played the role of God. Like I said, it may be years before the truth comes out, but it will come out. Okay, now I'm going to talk about vaccines, Operation Warp Speed. President Trump is doing what he felt the people needed to control this pandemic, partnering with the pharma companies to create a vaccine that can help prevent or slow the spread of the virus. The problem with this is that I do see side effects. From a spiritual perspective that would adversely affect people's health. I see it causing joint stiffness, irregular heart rhythms, and in some cases an onset of cardiac events. I see it weakening the immune system because the strain of this deadly virus is still incorporated in there, as well as other metals which are toxic for the human system. It's like chemotherapy, but 10 times worse. However, the effects would not be seen or felt immediately in everyone, but rather be more severe in others. The side effects and outcomes would vary. and some could be irreversible. The vaccines were tested on mice and lab rats. I do feel healthy people getting it. Um, I do feel some healthy people getting it and not having adverse effects immediately, but within 6 months to a year, they would start noticing some of these side effects. The thing Spirit says is that once the DNA strand of the virus is injected, it does not, it does something on the cellular level that would allow another deadlier virus in the future to be more potent, essentially weakening your body's immune defenses from fighting it. Will the vaccine be mandatory? Under a Biden administration, it certainly would be, and it would be the start. And it would start with our healthcare providers, nurses, doctors, hospital staff. If you want to work, you will have to have it. Then the airline industries will make it mandatory until it becomes a ripple effect. This is when people who voted for Biden and Harris will end up waking up and realizing the magnitude of their stupidity. Trump has always promoted living in a free USA without basic human rights being stripped from you. I know that many of you who are reading this are probably saying, geez, is there anything good coming to the USA? And the answer is that good is always going to be there, but so is evil. Nancy Pelosi. You've all asked me, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I see for Nancy Pelosi. We all have grown to hate her and some love her, but I do not see her serving much longer or having the power that she has. She has too many health issues that she has not disclosed to the public and things coming soon to the forefront. She will end up having to step down primarily for health, and also the stress is not good for her. So I don't know if this is going to happen in 2021, but it could be more future oriented, but I just wanted to state that. President Trump, what would happen if he is not our president? Well, the vision that I see is that he would be back at his home enjoying the life that he can. He is president regardless, and even though they would try to seek legal cases or try to hurt him in some other way, they would not succeed. There are protections for presidents. His supporters and fans will be there until the end of time, and they would rise up to help their president. This is not me saying he will not serve a second term. Again, I want to be very clear, but I'm giving you the visions of what I see for him in the event he is not. Believe it or not, he did not see serving our country as president of the United States being a game. He did it because he felt the need to help. The tax evasion that the left has accused him of are lies, all fabrications, but they are greedy bastards, pardon my language, so they would seek out any dirt that they could find on him. Him not being president would hurt him emotionally, but he would be fine regardless. A lot of you have asked me about predictions of Ivanka Trump. I see her going away from politics, but still creating awareness and focusing on her family and children. I do see her being successful in her own businesses and work projects. She would take over for her father in many ways in his businesses. Some would love to see her running for president at some point. While it's not out of the question, I don't see her wanting to go through what her dad went through. I don't see her wanting to that kind of pressure either, though she would be great. And I'm just flipping the page here. Again, tons of information to share. Don Trump Jr. I see him going the political route and possibly running for a future election. He takes after his father. He is no Donald Trump, but I do feel like his temper could get the best of him as well. I see him writing more books about what his father went through in the future. I see him involved in some scandals and headlines. He will stay very relevant, even if his father would not serve a second term. Now, I also see him being involved in his own business dealings and those of his father. The coronavirus. Many of you have wanted to know, when will this go away? I get so many DMs, so many emails, so many texts about, Ray, when is the coronavirus going away? The answer is that it will never fully go away. This is what think of this as the virus or the flu. Fear has been a mechanism to control the masses, and nothing has changed with the virus. I do not see the virus going away. It will be the new flu. Although vaccines are there, I do see the fear subsiding and people returning to how they used to be without batting an eyelash. But the laws of wearing the mask may stay there. And again, under a Biden administration, this would be the law, and I do not see And this would be the law that I see that will not go away. There will be other viruses over the next 4 years that do introduce themselves and also be resistant to common medicine. However, I see humanity rising up and being more spiritually awoke. So I don't see the size of this pandemic or fear that has been created. Many have been asleep in a sense of and paralyzed by fear. Those people will slowly have some kind of epiphany and wake up from the slumber to realize they wasted so many years of their life worrying about a virus and death. Death is inevitable, and people cannot escape their destiny. We all exit at some point or the other. I see a virus affecting food species, and that would be the next target. This too will be one that is created in a lab and used as a form of population control. The voting electoral college process. The voting system will eventually change completely, and I see states further out into the future exiting the 50 United States of America. They will want to be independent. I do feel if we do have an election in 2024, it will not be the same. It will be different, and I see that it would be entirely electronic. Again, this is not set in stone, but everything is changing, and I see it being more fair. Under a Trump administration, he would uncover all of this and would ensure that when he exits in 2024, that this would be the case. Under a Biden administration, I see him serving 4 years and then the Republicans voting him out and the Democrats too. Biden, or should I say Harris, would only serve a one-term presidency. Again, this is all subject to change. Remember, things are not written in stone. QAnon. A lot of people have asked me about this group. They are a group of individuals who prefer to be kept anonymous, but they would continue to expose those in corrupt power. I see them dropping truth on Biden and Harris and people under their camp. They're always going to be there and present, but from the sidelines is what Spirit reveals. There is more truth in what they spread than fiction. I see Biden and Harris trying to label them as terrorists, but they do not kill or create violence like BLM or Antifa. Stock market. I see this being volatile, but I feel like it would thrive. Some will lose money in 2021 and some will gain, but I see it taking a hit if there is a long lockdown like I see under a Biden-Harris administration. Now is the time to save money and also invest in silver and gold. Those will be the two things that are worth tons in the future. Digital currency will become even more popular in the years leading ahead. Terrorists. Under a Biden administration, I see war with other countries and putting our troops out there again. Under a Trump administration, I see peace, but I do feel like there would still be on alert for domestic terrorists. I see wars in other countries. I see the Middle East having their own ongoing war. I do not know exactly, but I feel like also there are some terrorists that attack large buildings in places like France. But I also see Germany having some attacks. This doesn't have to result in a ton of fatalities, but I see these people being stationed there. I do see the USA being targeted. Shootings will take place again in mass exodus of souls. I see a public place, could be a shopping mall or store, where there's a crowd of people that are targeted and shot at. These are all visions. Schools. I see schools returning by summer 2021 to normal for some places in the world. However, some will be embracing via learning online. For some schools, this will mean permanent shutdown and hardly any staff. When schools do reopen, I see kids shooting other kids. Mental health has been affected due to the pandemic, and I see that. I see that school shootings will be worse over the next 2 years because many children have been affected. 5G. I see this disrupting our weather patterns and health of many people. I see this not being good and causing more harm. Animals will not be able to tolerate the areas where 5G is at, and so many pets or wildlife will be affected. You will notice less birds in the air. Sharks are acting funny even now because they can feel it in the oceans too. The waves and frequency is also disrupting many geomagnetic patterns, causing weather events like you can't believe. Climate. I see many earthquakes becoming even more prevalent. I see California, I see Cali having several earthquakes, but also northeast United States, Mexico, India, Indonesia, and even Japan. experiencing more earthquakes. One near Alaska, too. I see them being more violent and the aftershocks being even stronger. I see hurricane season being very volatile and many big storms affecting the Caribbean, East Coast, Florida, and areas of North Texas extending through Louisiana, Puerto Rico, and more. South Texas coast may get another tropical storm that develops into a hurricane and hits somewhere along the Gulf Coast of Texas. This is not a definite, but a possibility from what I see. I see winter being harsh in some places in 2021 and 2020. I see large snowstorms. I also feel in 2021 the winter will be longer. Tornadoes will also be hitting Oklahoma area and Kansas. I see them also wiping out other cities across the United States. I see warmer summer in some parts of Canada in 2021 and 2022. I see fires in California getting worse as well. I feel there is something that happens in Hawaii. I don't know what this is, but I hear screams and devastation. This feels more like a weather event, and it may not happen in 2021, but it is something that is forthcoming. The new generation. I see that the babies being born under this pandemic and in the next 2 years are our next generation of starseeds who will help heal the earth. I've said this before, but they will be prepared and stronger than the new generation of today. The youth of today has been brainwashed by media. However, I see the next set of newborns being strong of mind. Divorces and marriages about love. Now, I have never done a prediction on love, but I see love becoming stronger for many. Many will marry in 2021 and as they have spent 2020 realizing they don't want to be alone anymore. Many will enter serious relationships and come to terms with all right. Sorry, it cut off. So I see their sexuality. Those hiding in the closet will come out and be themselves. Many will gain the courage to speak their true heart. Many couples who are married will divorce because they will realize that they've rushed or jumped into a relationship and didn't know that person. So divorce and marriage rates will go up to an all-time high around the world. Now that I finished all of my world predictions, I'm now going to get into celebrity predictions. So I'm going to start with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. I see them divorcing and I feel like they will not let the media know for months until it happens. I do see them still trying to work on their marriage, but I feel like the love is gone and Kim is conflicted. She is missing out on fun and experiencing something more. Kanye is very jealous and controlling at times, but then so is she. I see Kanye focused on music, but also wanting to do some kind of spiritual retreat. His level of weirdness will continue to be there. Kim, I feel, will be focused on her makeup brand and, again, wanting to do more in her legal pursuits. I see Kim being a momager, kind of like her mother Chris, and following in her mom's footsteps and getting her children into TV and acting in the years to come. There might be some network or spin-off focusing on her and her children at some point, but it may not be in 2021, but eventually. Ariana Grande. I see her thinking of motherhood and her love life. She is reflecting more about life and does feel lonely. I see her going through big image shift, and I feel like her staying power or star power will slowly diminish in some ways as new talent takes her place. I see her though still being relevant in a powerhouse, but there will be some feud between there will be some feud in the tabloids about her and another female. Billie Eilish. I see her making new music and her star power rising. I see her transforming and her image as well. I feel like she may be rumored to be in a relationship with someone. I see her exploring her sexuality too. There's something about her that involves art. I see her developing merchandise to sell as well as being very much the Lady Gaga of our time. Shock value is coming. I see legal battles ahead for the young artist with other people who will say she took ideas and concepts. I see her slowly entering acting over the next few years. Jason Lee, who is a podcaster. He will also be entering a serious relationship. I see him working on weight issues, but feeling confident. He is creating something, and I see TV in the works for him or his show growing. I do feel 2021 will be super emotional for him, so he will have to not have outbursts. Wendy Williams. She will continue to focus on new career endeavors. I feel like she's also thinking of some cosmetic procedure. I see her eventually leaving the Wendy Williams show. This may not happen again in 2021, but again, I want to be clear that I see at some point that the Wendy Williams show will go away, or she would be replaced. It may not happen in 2021, but at some point Like I said, I see her leaving that behind. She is going to butt heads with executives demanding more money. I see her being messy and still saying things that put her in the same line as Joan Rivers, and I see legal battles for her too. Johnny Depp, I see fans still concerned for him. I feel like his health is not the best, and I do feel that there is a deep depression. If he's not careful, he could end up needing to be hospitalized. Okay, let me just get into the next set of predictions here. I also feel that he is very conflicted with what is happening in the world. His personal life is further scrutinized, and love is something that he's searching for. Adele, I see her entering a new relationship, but it will be private. I feel like there could be a rapper or someone in the industry. I see her also changing. So a sexier Adele is going to come out in the years ahead. I also see some issues with her voice, which will be prevalent in her new album or new music. Mariah Carey, I see her focusing on her children and music, of course. I see her children, specifically Monroe, wanting to do music and interacting. There will be decisions Mariah has to make. I see her sister having a decline of mental and physical health. I see someone from her past coming back and wanting to fix a relationship. I see her and Brian eventually ending their connection. The age difference is a major factor. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I see them holding tight and fighting for their families to leave them alone. Prince Harry is bitter about how his family is treating Meghan and how they have shown their true colors. I also feel like scandals will continue to plague the royal family. However, I see Harry returning temporarily because the Queen's health is going to be at the forefront. There is someone affected in the royal family, which will prompt Harry and Meghan to visit them, but it will not be well received by some. Someone in the royal family or staff could catch the coronavirus as well. Beyonce, I see new music and also her continuing to expand her empire. I feel like there are issues within her marriage with Jay-Z, and eventually Beyonce will be confronted with the new reality that she wants to move on from this. I see her daughter Blue Ivy also involved in some creative projects, but all with Beyonce's approval. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed these predictions. Again, they will be on my website. And again, I will be having a Black Friday sale it will probably take place on Thanksgiving Day and run for 2 days, Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I love you guys. And again, if you want to book a private reading, visit www.raymondguzman.net. Bye.